Welcome to this little video to show you exactly how bad a carry-on location can be. Yes, they went as far as Snowdonia and carrying up the Khyber, and they sometimes ventured out to Canberra Sands. Most of the time it was done in and around Pinewood. In this video we're going to take you to Windsor, a place that is absolutely crammed with carry-on locations for you location hunters to go and seek out yourself. This is the ultimate guide. We're going to start off though with our first location, which takes us to Park Street, a very well known location for 3 carry-on films. Right, the first location on the map, pinpointed as it should be, the famous Wedded Bliss Agency here on 15 Park Street. Now, what is interesting about this location, not only did you see Kenneth Williams walk up from the same bit I did as well as Bertram Muffet, but you can also still see clearly up here that there's still visible where the plaque used to be in the original carry-on film, where the Wedded Bliss Agency sign was. As you can see, they've just used some very basic poly filler there, which makes it quite nasty. Now, as you can see, this view was also used in Carry On Again Doctor, when a lovely Jim Dale come down from the main shot of that road right up there. He swept in his big white Rolls Royce and parked right out here. I believe his surgery was a couple of doors down. I don't believe they used this one. But I don't know if you remember, but going down here, down this exact footway was the entrance to Helping Hands. Rushed around the corner, straight down there, all piling in to try and get a job. Yeah, we got this one wrong. It was the first stairwell. So 3 locations from 3 carry-on films, and this is it. Well, there's not really much to mention here. I mean, we're on the Great Walk here at Windsor Castle. You can just see in the background now. All that really happened here was that once King Henry went out for hunting and Carry On Henry, just a couple of them rode back up on here on horseback towards that way. And when they went to the next scene, they actually went to a little barn, which subsequently would have been to the left. As you can see behind us, there's no clear sign of a barn. So basically, that's it, really. Pursued by James Bedsop, Sid was making a quick escape up this wonderful hill just opposite the castle. He was obviously trying to get away from him, so we had to think of something very, very quick. So what did he do? Well, round this corner, just like in the film. Ah, the bells! Well, as you can see, Windsor Castle's having a good old clanging time. But where I've just walked, that was the corner that Sid actually walked to get James Bedsop on his back. You just see this shot here, which would have been an art shop back in the day. To make his quick escape, he went into some toilets, which are now, believe it or not, Cafe Rouge. Now a cafe shop. Walked in there, and of course, he lost James. James got arrested, and that was the end of it. Then, when Sid did make his exit, he went down here, out that entrance, just see where the girders are. And that would have been a taxi rate back in 1970. And obviously, as you can see, the popularisation of shops being on the high street have overdone that. The redevelopment programme has ruined the original feature. Mind you, not saying that has ruined it all, because over here, Bertram Muffet met his first date. The first Wedded Bliss Agency match. Yes, milk bottle tops it was, I think. And there we go, Yeehart and Garter. He would have walked down there. Obviously, there was a road there this day. You can imagine this was a road. So he would walk down there and he would walk into there. They put a very tacky sign up at the top there, just below that little drawing on the wall, whatever, that carving. And everyone said the Parkway Hotel Cocktail Bar. Just to let you know, a brief thing here. When Cafe Rouge, you saw that scene from over there, and Charles Autry was looking across the road, you could clearly see it's visible. The only thing was, they forgot to put the sign up. A bit of continuity, I think.
We're now at Eton Riverside Station, where they filmed the scene with Kenneth Cotter dropping a queer chap. Now behind me we can see where another scene where the taxi used to come along and stop for the cafe, which is situated over there. Obviously there's not a cafe there because it's just a mock-up. They were just using it for location. Now if we come across here, we can now see where Kenneth Cotter dropped a gentleman who dropped his earrings in the cab. And he said to him,
"Excuse me, sir. Does this parley ring belong to you?"
What?
with tweeds.
Also, here is where two gentlemen ran for a cab to catch the taxi which was parked out there. But you can see there is a taxi there in the same place. I forgot to mention that in the background we can see the Royal Oak Cafe, which you could see in the scene with Kenneth Connor. But we're now at Alexander Gardens, just on the road outside the gardens actually. And just behind me is where Kenneth Williams tried to take the monkey on the bus. Now the bus stop would have been just over there. Obviously now there's not a bus stop sign there, it might have been a prop, we don't know. Now after that, obviously the bus pulled away and he thought, right, I'm going to get a taxi then. And actual fact, he caught the taxi just across the road over there. We're now going to try and get across the road and show you that. Okay, and we're now just at the place where the taxi pulled up coming along this road. He asked the van in the cab, can I bring this monkey? He said, well, I'll bring you, but not your brother. Obviously after that, the cab pulled away and Kenneth Williams decided to take him into here, which was, they called it a zoo. It wasn't really a zoo, obviously. They just put a sign there. But this is actually Alexander Gardens, which is now the Windsor Eye. Well, I'm afraid we've reached a rather low point in this film now. This is the roundabout where Pint Pot went round and round, and Sid James said, come on, pull off over there, get out there. Now, the roundabout is just over there. We're on the bridge above. And as you can see, you wouldn't even recognise it. It's completely different. Here is the picture from the film. All that's left, all that remains that you can see is that house over there, which is the end block of the row of houses. That office block over there actually hides the tunnel which you used to see in the background. And on the right would have been the railway station entrance. Okay, there's not much more I can say really, but we'll move on to a better place. Oh, we've arrived now at the scene where Sid James pulled up at the beginning of the film in Carry On Cabby. The cabby, in fact, that road over there is actually much wider. They've narrowed it now. And Sid James actually was rather rude to another gentleman in the car. And this woman in the back said, "You filthy rotten road hog," and as he was swinging round here, he put two fingers up, and Sid James called back veteran driver. Okay, we're now at the location where Kenneth Williams actually collected the monkey in Carry On Regardless. We think this is the house. This is the most likely house that it was.
Yeah, you could say unlikely. We got it wrong. It's actually the next house along where Carry On Up the Jungle was made, as you're about to see.
He collected the monkey, and then he proceeded along here to take it on a little trip. Also in this road is another interesting location. Just along at the end, the house on the end is the house that we used at the end of Carry On Jungle, for fans that were interested.
Terry Scott's first date wasn't all that successful. Well, at least he didn't think it was when he met the ever so prim Jenny Grubb. He wasn't quite expecting what he got from Joan Hickson and other members of the family. Behind me is Jenny Grubb's house. As you can see, not much has changed there. The balcony's still there and it's still in situ. But there's not really a great deal changed. The door might have changed slightly, that's about it. But overall, the car would have originally came from where that car's about up there at the moment. He zoomed out and he parked about here where there was a Mini with a learner driver sticker stuck on the back. Of course, in the back was the ever so loving lovers. You remember them? The ones in Rotherham Mansions in the lift. Just can't get enough of it.
And on the bus.
And he ripped it off and said,
must be joking.
And that is it. That's the scene, that's the house. Well, guess where we are now? We are here on Francis Road. That house you just saw then is in fact the Citizens Advice Bureau. Yes, where Percival Snooper first insulted a couple, and then Hattie Jakes later went on there to ask him whether they could adopt some babies for their ever-growing affair. As you can see, there's not much change really. They've got rid of the big tree that was situated there. Clearly visible on the door, there's still the bell there and the drain pipe going down the side of the door. Obviously they put the sign, the Citizens Advice Bureau sign, in for it, but generally, looking at the state of the house, it has become a bit more decrepit. It doesn't look as nice as it did in 1970, but it still looks like the Citizens Advice Bureau, and if you walked past here, you could instantly say, like I did in the car, that's it, that's the location, that is the Citizens Advice Bureau. I don't know if you recognise the house behind me. This is Percival Snooper's home. As you can see on the door, it does say 32. In the film, it is a complete different number. Yet again, they like fiddling with numbers. A bit like the Carry On Eating with the number 13 door change. They do it all the time. Bit of a carry-on tradition, that. But here we go. Percival Snooper's house. I don't know if you remember, but Bernard Breslau's dummy come flying through that window. They have since fixed that. If we go this way, I'll show you exactly what they've done in the film before Hattie Jakes arrived at the house. She actually got in a taxi and she actually arrived here. Actually, the taxi pulled up somewhere around where the blue car is. She got out and then walked down that small alleyway. Okay. The blue house in the background, if you wouldn't have seen the film, it wasn't blue. They've done a very nice paint job though. If you come around here though, this is another significant sound. You probably might not know this unless I tell you, but you do actually see them houses over there featured in the film as Hattie Jakes looks down the street. It's probably that house there, number 23, they probably took the shot from down there, to be honest. But this is good because Sid, I don't know if you remember, but he had to make a call to grip a bird.
I just thought you ought to know. An oversexed nut by the name of Snooper has just lured your fiancée into his house.
What? Where?
Bolton Avenue, 45. And if I was you, I'd get my skates on, quick.
So to get grip around, he had a ring in the phone box. The phone box would have just been past his lamp post, probably about here. Well, as you can see, there is a phone box here. Now, BT haven't removed it. It was a studio prop, especially for this scene.
We've now arrived at Bolton Avenue. Not a significant scene for Carry On. The only scene we saw was in Carry On Cabby, where you got a view of the cab coming along this road. Now over there used to be where the hospital was, but that doesn't exist anymore. But the reason really why we've come down here is to see this house behind me, which was used in the Bless's house film. This first house was actually Terry Scott and June Whitfield's house. Terry, pre-runner to Terry and June. Really, you know, much as it was back in those early 70s. If we look along, it was actually Sid James's house, who lives next door. You can see it hasn't changed much at all. The door is actually still the same, and the windows as well. Now, Robin Asquith would have pulled up just over there where that tree is. It's not bigger now. He had a right old banger of a car. Well, here we are at the location where Sid James came in the cab after losing Charles Hawtrey. He actually pulled up in a cab just over there, and he then proceeded to walk along this path to that flat over there, 32 Rodham Mansions. Now, although it was number 32, we've discovered that 32 is in fact that door over there. But for some reason, they wanted to make it easier, so he just walked into that door over there. And the reason why he was going to see Esme Crowfoot is because he's trying to make up with her. And what he did, he poured a bucket of water over himself to gain her sympathy to try and get back to woo her back into his life.
That's all the locations wrapped up in this edition. We did leave a few out from Carry On Screaming that we may go back to one day. However, in the next episode, we're going to take you to Pinewood and Maidenhead as we uncover the real location of the campsite of Carry On Camping. Many years believed to be at another location, but we finally found the right place. Join us next time, and in the meantime, happy location hunting.